And now we go live to the Heartland. A 27-year-old mother of two children, ages 2 and 6, vanishes from the local VFW parking lot. Last seen in a silver Nissan Xterra. Tonight, the clock ticking down in the search for missing mom of two, Christy Kelly. Straight out to Frank Morano, radio talk show host with The Answer. Also with us, Sheriff Brett Cruz, and the father of Christy Kelly, Todd Scales. Also with us, Hugo Rodriguez, Seema Iyer, and Greg Kaysen. Todd Scales. Todd, this is so unlike your daughter. Tonight, where are her children? Who's keeping them?
Their father. They're staying with them. We figured this would be best. We don't want them to know that their mother is missing at this time.
Sheriff Brett Cruz is with us with the Warwick County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, her vehicle has also not been recovered?
That's correct.
Sheriff, what can you tell me about any red lights, any tolls nearby that would have captured her on, for instance, a traffic stop camera?
Well, we don't have traffic stop cameras. What we have is private surveillance video from local businesses and residences. We do have what we believe is Christy's vehicle traveling westbound in this time frame, shortly after she would have left the VFW, traveling westbound on State Road 62 in towards the center of the city of Boonville.
What about the church?
That video and another one that shows the same vehicle.
What about the church?
That's where the other video is from that church. The restaurant is about a quarter of a mile from the VFW, and the church is about an eighth mile west of the restaurant.
Clark, what are we talking about? The church, explain.
Well, Nancy, authorities believe they've seen the vehicle driving towards the home. Remember, Christy lives only a mile to a mile and a half from this VFW post, and authorities do believe that they saw a similar vehicle, again, not confirmed, but this may be Christy driving from the VFW to her home, the last known sighting. Nancy, no ATM activity, no credit card activity.
I want to get back to what you just said. Let me see that map again, Liz.
Yes.
Todd Scales, Christy's father, I don't understand. You're 1 mile apart from the VFW and the home, and she's spotted en route on the church. What, the church has surveillance video, and they spot her going by, okay? How did she get lost in a half a mile?
That is the question we'd like an answer to.
And what about, Sheriff Cruz, what about her cell phone? You're saying that she is apart from her cell phone?
Yes, the cell phone was located at the VFW hall.
So she left that behind?
Apparently.
Was it located inside or out in the parking lot?
It was located inside the VFW.
Okay, that is extremely unusual. And I'm sure, Sheriff, that you've interviewed all the friends. There you see the VFW. I'm sure you've interviewed all the friends she was with in the VFW, right?
That's correct, yes.
And what do they say?
Well, her friends actually left the VFW prior to Christy leaving. She was here with the two bartenders, and there was a cleaning person inside the club when Christy left.
Did she leave alone? Was anyone with her when she left, Sheriff?
Not that we are aware of.
Okay. Unless your lawyer is Hugo Rodriguez, Seema Iyer. First to Hugo Rodriguez. Hugo, we always start with boyfriends and ex-husbands and husbands and lovers. Why?
Closest one, normally we find out that these disappearances, or unfortunately some other things that occur, usually at the hands of someone that she would know, whether it be a relationship, a family member.
Everyone, tonight, no suspects, no persons of interest, but the reality is that husbands, lovers, boyfriends, exes should not be offended when cops question them. That is SOP, standard operating procedure. Nobody is a suspect or has been named in this case. In fact, to my understanding, everyone has been cooperating. Back to Todd Scales, the father of Christy Kelly. She never leaves her cell phone behind, but she did that night. She only had a mile to go before she would be home. There's only a couple of alternatives. I don't think she would have gone willingly, especially leaving her cell phone behind. But did she turn back to go back and get her cell phone? Is there any indication that could have happened?
We don't have any indication of that at this time, even though that is, like you think, as soon as she realized she had forgotten her cell phone, she would have immediately went back and retrieved it if she could have.
Todd, have all of the ditches, waterways, inclines been searched in case she went off the road?
Actually, the area she was in at that time is within the city limits. There really isn't a place where she could have went off the road without hitting a home or something of that nature here in the city limits.
For the whole 1.1 miles, you would be able to tell if she had gone off the road. So, Sheriff, our alternatives are she left on her own, which I don't believe. She turned and went back for her cell phone. Sheriff Brett Cruz, how long did the crew stay in there cleaning up the VFW? How late were they there?
They were there, and there was actually only one individual that cleans this club at night, and he was here for approximately another 2 hours.
And he, according to him, she never came back for her cell phone.
No.
And is there surveillance there at the VFW?
There is not, no.
Okay, so I'm taking his word for that about what time she left. All the timeline is really based on what he's telling you. Is that right?
The timeline is based on what he's telling us and what time we see the vehicle pass the restaurant, which is...
Yeah, you're right. So his story is corroborated. What was the last... Can you get a hold of her last text or cell phone calls? Who would she call or text?
We are working on that right now. We've downloaded part of her cell phone information, but there's still part of it that is yet to be recovered because it's password locked.
Everyone, Christy Kelly, 27-year-old mom of two, a girl 6 years old, a boy 3 years old tonight. We are asking for your help. Help us bring Christy home. And before I sign off on this, Greg Kaysen, I've been analyzing her behavior. Greg Kaysen joining us from L.A., psychologist and former star of Bravo's L.A. Shrinks. If I realized my cell was missing, I would immediately turn back and get it.
I think that's right, Nancy. There's some reason that she left her cell phone there. If it wasn't abduction, maybe she was in some kind of alcoholic breakout, or maybe, and this is an outside possibility and very rare, sometimes people get into these big stress experiences and they go into what's called a psychogenic fugue. They kind of forget who they are and they just proceed as normal and then wake up a week or two later. So there could be many possibilities. We just have to wait and see what happens.
With me, Greg Kaysen, joining us from L.A. Tip line in this case, everyone. Take a look, 812-897-6180.